expert and our guest, Stephen Cotton from SC Edibles. Stephen, how are you?
Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
It's a good time. It's a good time in LA right now. We've got our Dodgers going, and we're looking pretty good here. You're a Dodger fan, I think.
Dodger Blue. We're going to get back to the World Series. We're going to win it this year.
I was a little worried about Stephen showing up today because the Dodger game starts at 4:30.
Traffic was wild today, man.
Yeah. If you follow our show, we are here every Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're live on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube and SoundCloud under Mondays with Wallace. We take your phone calls at 424-227-9461. I am Wallace Peoples. I'm a board-certified pharmacist, and we talk about anything and everything cannabis. We're a think tank. I used to say we were a conservative show, but I had my daughters just totally rail on me.
The word conservative, they don't like that word.
I know the word conservatives because my daughters, they seem to feel that meant I was a Trump supporter. Well, we're fortunate enough today to have my wife in studio with me. My wife is just a good person, and I absolutely love. If you ever have, if someone says that there's your better half, well, that's my better half. And I think my wife thinks that even when she heard conservative, I think her idea was that I was a Trump supporter or something. So I took that completely out because I got such negative blowback from that. But I like to think I'm kind of conservative in that respect.
When you use the word conservative, I thought you were anti. When I think of conservative, I thought you were just anti-weed. When you told me you were coming out with a weed show, I thought you were coming out with a conservative weed show and you were just anti-weed.
Yeah, I think that's the perception that people get, but I don't smoke marijuana or weed. And but looking at it, I'm just amazed and how much information there is. And just talking to you, I've known you for so many years. It's amazing how much you know about marijuana or cannabis. And I'm just curious, do you just pick this up reading, or how have you picked this up?
I picked it up through experience.
Through experience.
I'm from Southern California, and a lot of the laws and everything are taking place here in LA, and this is the home of weed. This is the weed capital. Well,
we do explore everything from the legalization, the financial perspective, and the impact on cannabis and the quality of your life. One thing I was looking at, I had someone come to me very recently, and it looks like they were giving me an opportunity to get into cannabis and either growing or selling or something. And I really haven't quite figured it out. What do people today, how do you get into cannabis nowadays? I don't think it's something that seems like a lot of the small people, Stephen, have been left out.
You're right. There's so many different types of investments you can do with cannabis now. The first thing you need to do is get educated on cannabis. Mm-hmm. You can even take out weed stocks right now. They have stocks where you can invest in weed companies, marijuana companies right now. Mm-hmm. So you need to figure out whether you want to do the stock market game, whether you want to open up a storefront, or whether you want to do something creative and just become a distributor and come out with your own product.
Well, more and more, it seems to me as I have looked at this, more and more you seem to need a large amount of money. And that seems to be outside of most people, even myself. And I have a pretty good income source. And I was talking to our producer, Lee Michaels. We are at the Power of Voices studio in Culver City, by the way. And my producers, Lee Michaels and Josefa Salinas, are grateful enough to have us over. But we were looking at the how much money to get in. Mm-hmm. And I think a license now, someone was offering a license in the neighborhoods of $1 million. Is that possible?
That seems sky high. I don't know what type of licensing that would be for. Maybe if you're opening up like an amusement park, you may need some licensing like that. Because Mike Tyson, he just put in an investment, and he is
Mike Tyson, the boxer Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. he's opening an amusement park for marijuana where people can come and learn about the grow and camp out there and ride the rides and get high and just hang out there.
Wow. That's
So maybe some licensing like that will cost $1 million, but just to get your foot in the door, you're looking at just entry point over $20,000.
$20,000. Again, most people don't have $20,000. Even, I mean, that's cash that you really have to, toss away, or not toss away, but you have to have, cash.
That's why you start small. You create a product, you get a sticker, you get a logo, and you start branding it right out of your home.
Is that legal?
That is tricky right there.
I know it's tricky.
That is tricky right there. There's some risk involved with this. Everything, and with the marijuana game, there's a lot of risk involved in it. So you kind of just gotta shoot. You gotta try.
Yeah. I see all the places that are being shut down. Mm-hmm. And if I had any investment at all and it were shut down, well, that would really concern me. And just the risk and knowing myself and knowing what just the risk involved would be just impossible for me.
Certainly. I can't imagine putting up $20,000 and you just can't open a store. You invest $20,000 to $50,000 and they either open the store and shut it down, or you never get to open because you don't have the proper licensing.
Now that's actually changed some of the pricing of marijuana. So for marijuana, how much does your typical customer buy typically?
So that's a good point. With all the rules and regulation and the licensings that are being required, marijuana is costing more. Your average consumer used to maybe buy an eighth for maybe about $40 to $50. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go into the dispensaries, you can pay up to $70, $80 an eighth. Mm-hmm. Because the dispensaries, they're having to pay taxes on it, so the customers are paying taxes on it as well.
Mm-hmm. There was just a great number of small-time dealers. If you go in a lot of the inner cities, and a lot of the people for years and years and years and years have made money selling marijuana. Mm-hmm. And now these people are being harmed or hurt by a lot of the laws because the legalization has really criminalized them. So I'm not sure if that is...
I don't think it has eliminated the local weed man.
Is that right?
A lot of people love the local weed man. They don't want to go to the dispensaries because, one, they don't want to pay the tax in the dispensaries, mm-hmm. and two, they don't want to be seen in the dispensaries. A lot of prominent people smoke weed just like me and other people out there. They smoke weed. So they don't want to, they have good jobs. They don't want to go in a dispensary and be seen in the dispensary with their friend's son or something like that. Imagine if you go in the dispensary and one of your daughter's friends see you in the dispensary.
Yeah.
It could hurt your image.
Well, I certainly don't think it would hurt my image. I've been in a dispensary, and but if someone saw me purchasing, when people know, essentially, I've always claimed I've not smoked, and I've stayed by that. Although last week, after the show, we were talking about if I had ever received a contact high, and when we were doing the show, or when we were smoking when I was a kid, we'd sit in a car, and there was a phrase for that. When you sit in a car, and
you hotbox.
You
roll up all the windows and you hotbox.
Exactly. I think we were hotboxing. But it's funny. I was talking to a guy who was selling, and I was asking where some of the tips are, because even now, are you at risk if you're a small dealer? Are you still at risk from being arrested, being a small dealer?
Absolutely. I think you're at risk. If you're not following with rules and regulations, you can still go to jail over this.
Is that right?
If you're riding around with too much marijuana in your car and you have it bagged up like your intent to sell, you'll go to jail.
Oh, is that right?
Or if you're riding around with marijuana and you have a scale in the car, you'll go to jail.
Is that right?
You need to follow the rules still. These small-time dealers, they need to comply with the rules that are being put in place so they can keep their business going as well.
Mm-hmm. I thought you had, if I can share
People
this.
have loyalty to the local weed man. They've been buying from this person for 5-10 years. They don't want to go to anything new.
I was actually speaking to a local weed man, and I was asking him some of the tips. You know what his number one tip was?
What's that?
Number one tip.
Don't get high off your own supply.
No, his number one tip was always have a reserve of weed.
Always have a reserve.
He said always have a reserve.
You're right.
So if a customer calls anytime, you're able to supply him 24/7.
That is a good tip because you don't want to run out. Because
that
once
right?
you run out, that's when your customers go someplace else.
Do people call 24/7?
They call 24/7
Is that right?
all during the night, man.
And how do you have to have a separate phone for that, or?
I mean, it just depends on if you're a go-getter or not. I know weed men that'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go get that $50 real
Is that
quick.
right? Yeah.
Or they'll charge more. If someone wants weed after a certain hour or early in the morning, they up their price for the convenience.
Is that kind of a Uber thing? Because with Uber,
Prices
Uber
surge.
prices surge. So is that like a pricing surge thing?
It is. If you want weed in peak hours, off time, or you want somebody to deliver it, prices do surge.
One thing, this is my weed guy now.
Absolutely.
Now you're not my weed guy, so this is something new. Steven, I'll tell you, Steven from SC Edibles. Steven is just remarkable to me in the amount of information that he knows. But another rule my weed guy told me, my weed guy was not.
I want to meet your weed guy.
I know. My weed guy, he told me, don't carry money on you, or rubber bands.
No money, no rubber bands.
Why not rubber bands? I didn't understand that. I didn't have a chance to really.
Rubber bands may be a sign that you got cash on you.
Oh, is that right?
If you got rubber bands, people going to think you got cash to go with those rubber bands.
Is that right?
So that may be why. I don't have to worry about that. Everything's technology now, so all of our thing is all of our money is through the app.
Yeah.
We don't worry about running
I
around
love
with a
the
bunch of
idea of carrying cash. If you ever, I used to have friends
Show off.
Well, no, I love the idea of carrying cash. I used to know an old doctor, and he always had a wad of cash, and he always said, to this is an old Jewish white guy. He was really a great guy. His name was George Armbruster. We were in this club. We were in a club. It was the Optimist Club. The Optimist Club, and we a bunch of old white guys. I don't know how I got into the club, but the guy would carry cash. He had a wad of cash, and I always asked him, Dr. Armbruster, I called him George. I always said, George, why do you always carry so much cash? And he always says, you know why? He says, whoever carries the cash makes the rules. And I love that.
I love that
I absolutely love that. And when
get you jacked out here in Inglewood, though.
Right.
Running around with all that cash in
right?
Inglewood to get you jacked real quick in broad daylight.
When my when my daughter got married, I'll tell you, when she got married, I went and did that. I had like a wad of cash in my pocket.
Told you were a show off, man.
But you can do a wad of cash easy. A wad of cash is easy.
And you still didn't get to make the rules. She made the rules
no,
anyway.
No. Well, I'll tell you, when we did that, do you know how much a wad of cash is? You know how much you need to have a wad of cash? How much do you think you need?
You got to have a few thousand. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You got to have a few thousand to have a wad.
Lee Michaels is here with us. Lee, how much you think you need in your pocket to have a wad of cash?
Depends on the denomination of the money. I would say $100 bills, $5K.
$5K. Actually, you only need about $1,700.
And it was a nice wad.
And it's a good looking wad. You can have $1,700, and it's a nice wad.
Is that rolled?
No. With the rubber band. With the rubber band,
you're not gonna make any rules with that wad out here.
No, I'm telling you,
you're not gonna get in the club with that wad.
But another rule that my drug person told me, and he's not really a drug person. He smokes weed. He says, don't scam your customers.
Yeah. You want repeat customers.
Yeah. So how would you scam somebody? I don't know how you would scam somebody.
Easily. A lot of your customers don't have scales. So when you sell them an eighth, you can short them. An eighth is supposed to be 3.5. You can give them 3 grams and short them and not give them the proper amount of weed because they don't have a scale at their house. Most of your customers, 9 out of 10 of your customers don't have a scale.
Do we do the baker's dozen thing where you give them more or no?
No. I don't give my customers more. You get exactly what you pay for.
Oh, is that right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. It's probably a good deal.
Sometimes if a customer is buying something in a large quantity and maybe a pound or something, the pound will be over. But if you're buying an eighth or an ounce or everything like that, it's right on. But pounds, sometimes your pounds will be an extra little chunky.
Yeah. My guy also told me, he said, if you're selling them schwag, do you know what schwag is?
Schwag.
Do you know what that is?
Doesn't sound like good stuff.
Yeah, it's called, well, I don't want to say it, but it's SHIY marijuana.
It's not good. Swag.
Yeah. Is it swag?
Swag.
Is that how it's pronounced? So there you go.
It's boof. It's not good. It's not quality stuff.
Is that right?
You want your customers to come back. You want to treat them like any other business.
But is what he says is you can actually tell them. He said you would tell your customers that this is swag.
And then they'll get it for a cheaper price.
And they would get it for a cheaper price.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's how that works. But they're not going to come back to you anymore after they smoke swag because it's not good.
Even
if you tell them, they don't want to come back to that anymore. They want good stuff.
Yeah.
They want something they light up and they want to know, oh my God, where can I get that from?
Yeah.
We got to go see him again.
Well, with marijuana being what it is now, is it all good stuff?
It's not all good stuff. There's different growers. There's different chemicals in it. It's not all good stuff. Some of it is organic. Some of it is not organic. We got the dog in the studio today.
Yeah, we have a really nice. What type of dog is this? This is a.
We got a miniature wiener dog. His name is Buns.
Buns. Oh,
we got Buns in the studio today.
Yeah, there you go.
Buns doesn't like weed.
Yeah.
You hear him? Buns doesn't like weed. Some people's dogs, they like marijuana, but Buns, he doesn't like. He's been to the hospital 2 times.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? You know, that
he ingested it.
Is that right? You know, that has really been a problem of late. Dogs actually ingesting marijuana and getting sick. And it typically is not lethal to them, but it does make them sick.
Real lethargic.
Really lethargic.
He was a puppy, and when he was a puppy, he was just eating everything. Mm-hmm. And the young lady dropped some marijuana on the floor, and he ate it 2 times, and he had to go to the hospital. They pumped him with water and tried to get it out of his system, but he was extremely lethargic.
What a lot of times what you'll see.
He won't go near it now.
Well, dogs are really ambitious eaters, whereas they don't really discriminate with what they eat. I mean, if we gave him an Oreo cookie, typically he would eat it.
He would try it
at least. Mm-hmm. And you're actually seeing about a 400% increase in dogs that are ingesting marijuana, and I'm not sure if it's lethal. I don't think it's lethal to them. Mm-mm. But so he's ingested some marijuana. And
He's ingested marijuana before, and now he won't go near it.
Oh, is that right?
I have some people's friends whose dog, they love it. They'll go sniffing it all the time. Every time we spark a blunt, they'll come over and they want us to blow it in the face. But Buzz, when he smells weed, he goes the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
Not a weed dog.
So the dogs typically get a contact high.
Is
that right?
Mm-hmm.
Contact high.
I know people smoke with the dogs all the time.
Oh, is that right?
Dog can't wait to come home to get a little contact high.
Is that right? Yeah, it seems that dogs have these receptors in their brain that are unique to ours, whereas it affects them a little differently. And I think they can get a high a little faster. I think.
I bet.
But you do see things like disorientation. You do see things like bumping around and. I'm not sure if it's fun for so he obviously didn't like it.
No,
he didn't like it.
Buns is not a weed dog, not at all.
Can I ask you what you feed Buns?
Oh yeah, he eats a lot of lamb, dried lamb, freeze dried lamb. Mm-hmm. He had to stay away from chicken. Chicken was giving him allergies.
Oh, is that right?
No chicken, just a lot of lamb, raw beef.
There are arguments that suggest dogs can be completely vegetarian. And I don't think that be the case, but have you ever thought about something like that? There's diets for
I've
dogs
heard
that are
of dogs
completely
that eat all
vegetarian.
greens. I've heard of something like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's a meat eater.
If your dog were to eat just plain cannabis, now you know how the cannabis plant is. Even if he ate the plant,
he would still get high from that.
Even from the plant?
Yeah, that plant has THC in it. Once the plant flowers and the buds are on there, it has THC qualities in it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, we were speaking about it before, they use CBD for their dogs. A lot of people's dogs don't have appetite. A lot of them have skin problems. Mm-hmm. So they have tons of products right now. If you go to the dispensaries for your dog, for different ailments for your dog.
The NBA season's getting ready to get started. We had, have you watched any NBA?
Oh, yeah. I watched the Lakers and the Warriors battle a couple times.
Right.
We got to put a leash on Lance Stevenson, man. He's going to get in some trouble this year.
Well, I think people like Lance's energy. I don't know what type of basketball player he will be, but, his energy on the court is, I think, what the Lakers are looking for.
He's Showtime. He's L.A., man. He's going to be a must-watch TV every night.
You think so? I think
must
so.
Watch.
How many games the Lakers going to win? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
Lakers make the playoffs. They get the 1 or the 2 seed.
Well, no.
They get the 1 or the 2 seed. I'm hoping we get the 2 seed.
You've got to feel that Golden State gets the 1 seed.
Golden State 1, Lakers 2, Houston 3.
you see them being better than Houston?
Houston beats Golden State. Lakers, Houston, championship.
I think the Lakers are going to be maybe the 4, maybe the 5 seed.
Yeah.
We had did a show.
Those young guys are too good, man. Those young guys are hungry. Kuzma.
I don't
Hart.
think they're a quality team. I really don't. And I'm being, obviously, I'm a Clipper. I love the Clippers. And, but I'm not sure that Kuzma and even Ball, I'm not completely convinced that Ball is a starting in this league, is a starting NBA guard.
We'll see real soon.
Yeah, we will.
We'll see real soon. I'm glad we kept Ingram. I like Ingram.
I like Ingram a lot too. One thing we had talked about, which we had gotten a lot of criticism for, or at least we had a lot of energy for, was the 3-point shots. It seems like we didn't like, and I still don't like the league nowadays.
You don't like the new game, the new style?
Well, yeah, and I attribute
statistics say it's better to shoot the 3 than go to the basket.
That's what's happening, and I had contributed a lot of it to weed. To be honest with you, it would seem that, and I still say that it's that our culture is different. We don't have a culture of going inside. Our culture is to stay outside and just shoot. I mean, when you go to, have you played in Venice lately?
No, I haven't, but
Man,
I go over there and watch the guys all the time. You still play out there?
I do.
No way.
I do. Yeah, I do. I still play out there. And I'll tell you, out at Venice, everybody's getting high. Them guys are all getting high. If you go play with those guys out at Venice, man, them guys are jacking up threes. The threes is going.
You got to go smoke a blunt out there on the beach in Venice, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go watch the guys out there.
Yeah. I wonder, so they're shutting down these, a lot of these places. I think the state, not even the federal government, they're going in and they're shutting down a lot of these dispensaries because only, I believe it is 170 licenses were granted.
Yeah, they're not properly set up.
They're
on every single corner right now, like the Wild Wild West. Everywhere you look up, there's a green red cross sign. That's how they symbolize it. It's a red cross sign, but it's green.
A red cross sign.
You know the red cross sign.
Sure.
Their logo.
Oh, yeah.
But it'll be green.
Uh-huh.
And that's the sign for a medical marijuana house or dispensary. And these things are popping up on every single corner, like Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, every corner. My mom always asked me, what are those green things, Stephen? What are those? I said, Mom, they're selling weed.
Yeah. Are they making money?
They're making tons of money. You should see the line in there. It blows my mind every single time I see it.
Okay, so let's say here, Stephen, me and Lee, now this is hypothetical, me and Lee, we want to set up a weed store in here. We want to take our studio right now and we want to make it a studio. And for our listeners and anyone that wants to call, by the way, our number is 424-227-9461. We always invite anyone that wants to call and does call. But okay, so we want to take our studio and we want to convert it to a weed shop. And complete with everything. What do we need in our studio? Only thing our studio has is we have these sound. What are these sound things?
Soundproof walls.
These are soundproof walls.
Green
we
screen.
have this green screen. Now with the green screen, that is so we could actually change our background, which is what Lee has done for us. So what else do I need?
Things you're going to need is you're going to need to go around and look at some other dispensaries that are already set up. Your security is going to be important, number one.
Okay, so I need security. Now, I've got security. Lee's got the door locked. And do we have cameras in here? So we have cameras. So I'm going to say cameras are about $600. So that's $600.
Cameras, security. You need an armed guard.
So I need an armed guard? I absolutely have to have an armed guard?
Absolutely. Maybe several.
Is that right?
You need a license.
You need a license. You can't just open up your door and start selling weed out of a commercial establishment. And you got to make sure it's zoned. You have to make sure this place is zoned for that. Maybe too close to schools and things like that. They don't want weed dispensaries put up near
I think our
school.
Zoning here would, and I'm not interested in selling weed. You know that, Lee. But you are. Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. So we're already at about 600 with the cameras.
Licensing. Let's say $20,000 in licensing.
So the licensing is $20,000. You think?
Let's say just to start is $20,000.
Just to start is $20,000.
Just to get your application and everything going, maybe about $20,000.
They're not giving out any of the licenses.
That's the issue right now. All the licenses have been put on hold. Everyone went running out for licensing once they started getting it. Everyone. Oh, I want a weed store. You want a weed store? I want a weed store. Everyone went running out for licensing, so they put a hold on them. So after this hold, they're going to be screening them differently. They're going to make a new application. I told you the rules are being put in place as we speak. So right now there's a hold on all the applications. I know people renting people's if someone that already has a license, you can rent theirs temporarily.
I see. So you could actually rent someone's license?
Kind of like a liquor license.
Okay. All right. So we've got past that, and I'm renting someone's license, and my studio the zoning is good because there's no schools in this general area. I don't believe there is. What else do we need? Because we want to grow in this room, so we would need soil. Is that right?
Why are you growing? Are we growing or just selling?
No, we want to do the whole thing.
See, some people do have that. Like in downtown LA, if you go to a store called Wonderland, they show you the different steps for the plant and the stages and the growth and all that. But I'm thinking you wouldn't even want to do that. Why don't we just put the weed in there ready to go and sell it? Why are you worried about growing?
We have to buy it from someone, right?
Yes. So you want to grow it in this place too. So you're going to need a lot of space for that. Do you have
a lot of space to grow?
Space to grow.
This is not enough space to grow.
This studio would harvest nothing. You could maybe put two to four lights in here.
2 to 4 lights.
2 to 4 lights.
Halogen lights, or
there's different type of lights. There's LED lights,
right?
And there is, I forget the name. There's another type of lights, not the LEDs, but there's different lights that you can use. It gives different spectrums off, and it makes the weed grow differently.
I see. And I was.
But I'm telling you, if you want to grow and sell in the same place, it's going to be a headache.
Well, I actually, we were trying to grow at my house, and it just went terrible.
Yeah, I remember.
It just went absolutely terrible. So I guess I'm wondering if you're a person that just, let's say you want to grow, and you say, I bet you I could grow, and I bet I could sell a few buds, and we had the amount that
in the
we
jar.
had the studio in the jar,
2 ounces.
And how many plants would I need to get that amount?
Oh, 1 plant will get you that.
Oh, is that right? 1 plant?
I say 1 plant will yield about 8 ounces.
8 ounces.
2 plants can give you a pound.
Okay, so
if you're growing good and your lights or everything's dialed in, doing it right, you can get about 8 to 10 ounces a plant. But if you go into outdoors and get outdoors, you can get pounds. The weed plants are as big as Christmas trees up there. I've seen pictures.
Oh, is that right?
I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
The buds are as big as you.
So I really want to grow in this particular room, and this room is I'm going to say it's about maybe 12 by 14.
Not very big at all. Yes.
Not very big at all. And so this is what I've got.
It's okay with the height, so you won't have a problem with the height.
Okay, and will the plants grow? They won't grow taller. They only grow about.
They're only going to grow so big. It's indoors.
They grow the size of a Christmas tree, a small Christmas tree.
No Christmas trees in here.
No
Christmas trees in here at all.
No small. I mean, so
I say your plant may be about 5 feet.
5 feet.
4 to 5 feet. And you got to imagine, because the roots are going to tap out. There's not a big bunch of soil in here. Whatever type of pot you use, that's what's going to determine your height.
How deep do you need your soil to be? About
how deep?
The soil.
Depending on how big you want your plants to get. I say about 5-gallon pots.
5-gallon pots.
5-gallon pots will give you some nice sized plants.
That's 5 gallon is
5.
Those big orange buckets you get from
Home Depot. So 5 gallon.
Exactly. Imagine a painter's bucket. Because I used to use those to measure my water all the time.
Oh, is that right?
You're going to need lots of water. If you're growing in here, you're going to need lots of water.
Now, so you would water the plants. Do you always irrigate them, or do you just water them?
A lot of people use a drip system now. You put it on a timer, and you have to first clean the water, because you don't just use regular tap water for your plants. You have to filter the water first, and then once you filter the water, you put it on a drip system, and it waters the plants throughout the day. But you don't want chlorine in your plants. If you think about it, if you go to the tap water, that has chlorine in it. That's not good for your plant. The plant will still grow, but it's not going to optimize and grow like you want it to.
I always continue to be amazed how much Stephen knows. Aren't you amazed, Lee, how much Stephen knows?
Trial and error.
This guy's really sharp.
I had a bunch of plants that went all bad.
Well, I'll tell you, I never got my plants to even start. And I was,
It's frustrating. A lot of people have that issue.
yeah, but I'll tell you the reason that and I think most people would probably fail because you don't really realize that there's a lot of knowledge. And why do you think I fail? Because to this day, we planted some seeds, although I didn't plant them, but we planted some seeds on the side of our house, and I got zero.
I think you failed because you went out there, you got some seeds, and you kind of just threw them in the backyard and thought you were going to end up with a plant. You got to map out the area you're using. You got to make sure you have the proper space, the proper lighting, and then you got to make sure you have the proper seeds. You need to make sure the seeds you get are quality. Anybody could give you anything.
Yeah. I was so disappointed knowing that I'm a pharmacist and knowing that I come from a long-time family of farmers. I mean, when we went to Georgia over the summer, and all of my family is just, longtime farmers. And to know that I couldn't even grow marijuana, which is supposedly easy to do, Jack and the Beanstalk, throw it back there. It's really hard.
A lot of people put the plants too close together too. And I remember you had the situation, if you had tomatoes in the backyard, you probably put your weed plants too close to the tomatoes and they killed each other off.
Even my tomatoes died.
Tomatoes died too?
Well, they didn't really die, but they didn't really do well.
You're not putting any love into them, man. You got to put love into them.
You know what you guys don't realize? I hurt.
You're not putting any love into them.
I have feelings too.
I know you do.
I do.
You're not a farmer.
I am a farmer. That's my point. I come from a family of farmers, and I'm a farmer.
That's why you are a pharmacist.
He went out and bought this expensive soil and said this is supposed to be the best soil in the world and all this stuff.
That.
He got some Miracle Grow.
All that expensive soil did him no good. Had some Miracle Grow. I told you, Miracle Grow's not that good. It's real commercial. It's really not the best.
It would just seem to me, and I'm being completely honest, it would just seem to me if you have the best soil, and Miracle Grow is good because my mother uses Miracle Grow.
It's okay. She's not growing weed either.
I know, but
she's probably growing some flowers, things like that.
Yeah,
my mom uses Miracle Grow.
Yeah, but I don't
But
see...
research shows that if you take a weed plant and you put it in Miracle Grow, or you take it and put it in a soil that's more weed friendly, it's going to be night and day.
Organic.
I see.
I like Fox Farm. Fox Farm is the one that I use. Fox Farm soil is amazing.
Yeah. Well,
doesn't burn off your plants. The soil's not too strong.
I continue to go on the side of my house, and I continue to look for those plants that are growing. And I got to tell you, I did have something that did grow, as you remember, Lee, and someone stole it, as you remember, Lee Michaels.
One out of what you had, 3 or 4 plants, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the others?
Well, I don't know, but I know someone
took it.
Someone stole what I was growing.
Somebody
Lee
came
Michaels.
I don't even know where you live.
Okay. All right. So, but but I never got a
Scout
chance
your area next time. Take your time. Kind of rushed it a little bit. You got the seeds, just threw them in the backyard. Take your time. Scout the area.
Is there a certain time? Because I know it needs the sun.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there a certain time that you'd want to start? A certain time of the year?
Yes. It is. Harvest time is right around right now. Right now, everyone is harvesting their plants. Plants are finishing up. So I think you're supposed to start. It's somewhere around daylight savings time, or somewhere around then is when you're supposed to plant your seeds.
I see. I'm gonna try it again.
You can Google it. If you Google it and say, "Hey, Google Siri, when should I plant my marijuana seeds?" They'll tell you the time of the year.
Getting back
usually takes about 3 months to grow.
Getting back, Stephen, to my friend who's selling, like your neighborhood person selling in the hood.
Neighborhood weed man.
Is it just impossible for them? Do you think there's any hope for them? Just because
some of these guys are rich already. Some of them are rich already. They got the right customers. They tap in. Some of these neighborhood weed men are rich already, and they took their weed money and they started other businesses. Some of these weed men are paycheck to paycheck out here.
Yeah.
Some of them are competing with the dispensaries. Some of their customers go to the dispensaries, and some of them come to them, but it just depends.
Nowadays, you can even legally, and there's new laws on the books where you can legally make food items in your house and sell them. Whereas, during the holidays, a lot of the people of Mexican heritage, they will sell the tacos. Is it the tacos or the
taco trucks?
No, not taco trucks, but is it the where do they put the chicken and
Oh, it's
what do
like
you call
traditional tamales.
tamales? Exactly,
It's traditional.
tamales, and you can actually legally sell tamales that you've made at home, but you can't do that with marijuana, right? Or can you?
It's tricky. I have a friend that makes edibles at home, and he was explaining the licensing process about that the other day. And he explained to me that he has a seller's permit, and he's applying for another permit right now so that he can legally sell these edibles. He's been doing it already, just taking a risk, but he wants to legally be able to sell these edibles out of his home.
I wonder, were I to have marijuana, and I have friends. A lot of people realize that since we do our podcast, a lot of people try to introduce marijuana to me. Can I buy marijuana from my friends? Is that something I can do? I'm sure I can.
Absolutely.
But you're not paying taxes on the marijuana from your friends. So it seems like, it would really seem like the best place to buy marijuana right now is still underground.
It is. It definitely is because of the prices.
Yeah.
You're going to get bang for your buck and you're going to get the good stuff. A lot of the dispensaries are just putting whatever in there. They're buying it, reselling it, making their money. But if you know that you go to your friends or somebody like that, you can trust them a little more. If you go to, for instance, you go to one of your neighbors across the street, you've known this man for 20 years, you feel more comfortable buying marijuana from him than just walking in the store and somebody putting a label on it. You really don't know what's in there. But you know this guy across the, because you've been getting weed from him for 20 years. And
So-
if anything goes wrong, you can go across the street and beat him up.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to do that. I certainly wouldn't want to do that. I'm your host, Wallace Peoples, and this is Mondays with Wallace. We talk every Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time about marijuana. So I'm feeling that you're not going to really remove the weed guy.
I don't think the weed man is ever going to get removed either. I always think people want the local convenience, and sometimes people just want to see Steve.
Yeah,
People just want to see Steve and say hi to Steve. It's not even the weed. They want somebody to smoke with.
To see Steve every Monday. I'll tell you.
They just want somebody to smoke with. Hey, you want to stay? You want to roll up? You want to smoke one with me?
Yeah.
Weed is a real social thing. Somebody was joking about it on TV the other day. People usually don't drink by themselves and smoke by themselves. People roll up and say, hey, you want to hit this? You want to share? And that's what people do with the weed man. Hey, you want to smoke with me before you leave? Hey, you want to smoke? You want to hang? You want to watch the game? It's a real social thing.
No, yeah, I get that impression.
I don't think the weed man is going anywhere. Even with all the dispensaries and legalization, I don't think it's going anywhere.
The problem that I have with legalization, and more, and this is the biggest, when I look at marijuana, and, fundamentally, I don't smoke and I don't plan on smoking, but it seems like the city or the county, they're really trying to stamp out the weed guy, the little small guy. It seems like they really
it feels
are
like
going
they're
after
making
the
it
small
harder
guy.
for African American
It just
men
seems
to
like
get
they're
into the
making it
business.
really hard.
They are. They want the big guys with the money to get into the business, but
And that's what's happening.
But the local weed men who've been in this industry for way longer, it's harder for us to get into the game. It is.
It seems that way.
It's a topic. It's a real good topic that's widely talked about. Why is it so hard for these young African American men to get into the marijuana industry? And they've been selling weed forever. Why aren't they able to establish a business and do this properly? Why is it so hard for them?
It's impossible for
They're
them.
actually making it so when the new licensing, right now I told you all the licensing are on hold. Once they take this hold off, I heard, quote unquote, rumor that if you were ever locked up for a marijuana charge or anything like that, you will have be able to get in easier. If you actually,
right?
or a family member that had something, because they were putting people in jail for
Oh,
over
my God,
small amounts of
absolutely.
weed.
Right.
Real small, tiny amounts of weed, they were putting people in jail over. So they're supposed to have some minority that it gives you a boost to get your licensing faster. A certain percentage of minorities that have misdemeanors with weed and things like that, they're supposed to be trying to help us get into the business now because we've been in the business. African Americans have been in the business selling it for a long time, and it's so hard to legitimize the business, make it legal.
It would seem to me that, if you were to eliminate the licensing, and I'm not one to say limiting licensing is wrong, but you could actually get into how much can you actually get in the business if you're just trying to let's say I want to be a weed man, a weed guy, and I just want to sell to people in my neighborhood. How much do I need to get in? Because you could do it cheap.
Yeah.
Although I got the seeds. I don't know. What do seeds cost even nowadays?
Seeds can run you anywhere from per seed.
Per seed. They're cheap.
Each
They've gotta
seed
be.
can cost you anywhere from I say $4 to $12.
So that's cheap. Mm-hmm. That's cheap. So you could probably do it for, let's say, I want to. A person wants to grow at their house.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to grow at my house, and I have a house, and the only thing I need is just
Seeds,
seeds,
soil, proper water. You can't take
Proper water.
the hose. If you
Got
take
water.
the hose and you just water them with the hose, that's not proper water at all.
Is that right?
That is absolutely right. That'll
So
work for your
what's
tomatoes and
proper
things
water?
like that.
What is proper
You got to
water?
filter the water. It has to be filtered. You got to get the chlorine out of there. So there is something that you can buy and add on to your water hose. It's an add-on piece from Home Depot. Put that on your water hose and it'll filter your water for you. You'll take out the chlorine. But that'll help. That's one step. It's called reverse osmosis, though. You want to use the proper water in order to grow your plants properly.
Is
It'll
this
optimize
something that's absolutely necessary? So
absolutely necessary.
A person that wants to grow at home for themselves, they will need about how much money you think? If you want to grow at home for yourself and you have an apartment and it's legal, you could do it for less than $100, I'm sure.
No.
No?
Not if you want to do it right. You're going to have a real crappy product.
I don't
You
understand
probably
why
won't even
you
be able
can't-
to smoke your product. Because say you get the seeds for what? $20. You get the
20
seeds
bucks.
for $20. You
And
need
you have
you need pots.
5-gallon pots.
5-gallon pots
Cheap.
are cheap.
Cheap.
Soil.
Cheap.
Soil. Okay. Let's say another $20. We're at $40.
$40.
You got to water. Where are you getting this water from? Your water bill is going to go up.
Does it need that much water? I mean,
Tons of water.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 orange plants.
When these things get adults, they drink like crazy.
Oh, is
When
that
they're
right?
babies, they're a little bit of water. But when they're adults, they drink.
So at $12 a seed, you can only have up to 6 plants, right?
Right.
So that's times 6 plus $30 for the buckets.
Mhm.
Or $5 a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at 102.
$102.
No lights, no water.
You're right. You're growing inside. You got to go purchase lights.
But you got to figure lights. If you have a home,
Those lights are
we're-
not
we're-
adequate.
no, but
They're
we're
not
not
adequate.
putting that. We're just saying if you're homeowner, and you want marijuana. Let's say you want to grow. Let's say my wife wants to grow marijuana, and she's a homeowner. So you could do it for less than $100, less than $200, surely.
You can't.
Sure, you can.
Homeowner.
Okay, but you have lights.
You're growing indoor. Those lights won't grow your plants.
You can't use the light. You
They
can't
won't
use.
grow.
You could use
They're
sunlight.
not powerful
Surely.
enough. Sunlight is. If you're growing outdoors, yeah.
So if you grow outside, you can.
So go outside. You still got your water bill. Your water's going to hit you. Just throwing the seeds out there, and then you're not giving them any type of nutrients at all, too. You're just using the hose and the seed and the dirt. You're going to get something. Your plant is going to turn out whatever. It's not going to be something you want to smoke. If you just take a seed and put it in the soil and you water it with the hose every day, I'm telling you, you're not going to come out with a good product that you want to smoke. You probably can't even sell it.
Well, let's say you just want to do it yourself. You want to smoke it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You want to.
You need proper nutrients. You need to start giving that plant some type of nutrients. You got to feed it.
Okay, so what's the amount of money you feel you need to invest? And I say under $200, surely.
No,
Surely under
I'm
200.
saying about 5 to 1,000.
No way.
Yeah, properly do it right outside. I could set up a grow in your backyard for about $1,000, and you would have a nice grow in your backyard. One that would run 3 months. Your plants would be about 4 to 5 feet. Won't be sticking over any fences. You won't need any lights out there. You're going to need some pesticides because pests are going to come eat caterpillars. We're in LA. I had caterpillar problems all the time. Those caterpillars are going to feast on your plants. They
Caterpillars?
love to get high. That's what they say about the caterpillars.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
So you think
Butterflies come and land on your plants, and they put their seeds all around your plants, and the caterpillars just start hatching all over your plants.
So if I were to hire you, and that is a great business plan, by the way.
Sure is.
If I were to hire you to actually, and are you available if someone wanted to contact you?
I am not
and
available.
they wanted you to.
I could point you in the right direction, but
No,
I am not available.
you're not
But
available.
that's a business right now. You can hire a guy to come set up your grow for you.
Oh, is that right?
These guys are experts, and they will show you how to set up your grow. They'll come in. They'll help you purchase your lights. They'll help you with your water system. They'll help you with the spacing. They do everything. They'll do an outdoor
and this is
or
for,
indoor grow.
your own personal use. And you would typically, need typically 1,000.
Yeah, about $1,000 to get you started. Do it properly. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do 3 months of 4 months of hard work and then have a product that you can't smoke.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I
You
honestly-
spend $200 and you end up with a product and it just looks like a weed. It literally looks like a weed, not a weed that you want to smoke. It's a weed that you would pull out of the garden to get away from all the ugly plants.
Well, that's disappointing. Well, I
That
tell
happens
you,
all the time. Imagine you're putting so many months into something. I say 4 months into a grow. You want it to be. You want to be proud at the end, like when you're proud of your tomatoes at the end of your garden. Your family's farmers. My dad used to always have a competition with the neighbor to see who would grow the biggest tomato every year.
yeah.
So you want to have something that you can smoke and something that you can sell.
So typically $1,000 would get me if
Get
I
you
were just
started.
to get me
Something
started.
decent. Yeah.
$1,000, and
me some
you
wiggle room.
need about
Space. You need a nice size. Outside, these plants get big. These roots grow.
you
out.
couldn't water the plants with a pot. The little the watering thing.
You could, but that's not filtered. You need to filter your water.
You filter your water,
You gotta filter your water.
and you're trying to get the chlorine out of it.
Taking the chlorine out of there. Plants do not like chlorine. We don't like chlorine. Imagine in our body, we don't want chlorine in our foods.
But is there chlorine in regular tap water?
Yes. Just like you shower. How do you think that you shower and everything? You brush your teeth. That water has chlorine in it.
I'll tell you, I'm amazed. I'm amazed at what a complete failure I was trying to grow marijuana. I'm really was shocked. I felt because it's a weed. When you hear the weed grow. Oh, look at your son. He's growing like a weed. And I was like, oh, sure, this is easy. And I just failed miserably. And
I want you to try again.
I'm gonna try again.
You gotta try
I'm
again.
absolutely gonna do it. And actually, I even have some more seeds, and I'm trying again.
I'm gonna try to come by and help you too. Right
Yeah.
now is not the time of the year to plant your seeds because it's about to be cold season. So you can still grow, but your plants aren't going to grow very big. You're going to have about 1 foot tall plants. They're going to go immediately into flower mode.
So you think I should maybe is it better to maybe get plants that are starting to grow, you think?
That's good too. If you can't get your seeds to pop, you can go ahead and buy plants that are already half mature. 4-week-old plants, 1-week-old plants. You can buy babies. They cost you more though. They're called clones.
I don't mind spending money, but I hate the idea of failing at this. I really can't tell you how disappointed I am that I was not able to do it.
I want you to try again.
No, I'm going to try again. So I guess my next question is when I asked if you are available to help people, even at a business, you said you're not available. Well, what are you doing that you're so busy? Yeah, and I really admire and I respect you, and I'm so thankful that you came. But
I'm glad you asked.
for any amount of money, could someone please?
You can't
because you're
hire
an
me.
expert.
You can't hire me,
can't-
man.
oh
You
my
can't
God.
hire me, man. I'm dialed into Inglewood.
Well, there's got to be. Come on.
You can't.
Come on. There's got
I
to
don't have
be.
the time. I'll point you in the right direction. I know the guy that'll do it for $10,000.
I know, but I got to tell you, as much as I've done the show, and I'm thankful. And Lee, I think you'd have to agree. If you want someone coming to your house to knock on your door and show you how to do this, I'd want Steve Cotton from
I'll
SC
come
Edibles.
smoke a joint with you, man. That's
No,
what
I
I'll
don't
come
smoke.
do.
You know I don't smoke.
I'll come watch the
No, I don't
Dodgers. I'll
smoke.
roll
No,
up
I
a
don't
joint and
smoke.
drink some tequila with you. But
Yeah.
all that gardening
Tequila, I
stuff,
drink tequila.
I didn't enjoy it that much. You got to really enjoy this. You got to like gardening. You're putting a lot of time into that. I didn't enjoy it that much.
Is that right?
I didn't like being in the garden. I didn't like being in the dirt. I didn't like pulling caterpillars out the plant.
Is that right?
You got to really enjoy it.
Well, that's
You got to like
remarkable.
being an outdoors guy. I think I'm a city guy. I'm a beach guy.
Well, you're certainly a city guy. You're certainly a beach guy. You can always tell the city guys when you ask me if you've ever cut their grass. You ever cut your grass?
I've never cut my grass.
I've never cut my. Actually, I used to cut my grass when I was living in Ohio, but we don't do that so much
My
anymore.
friend
here.
is the proudest guy. He owns his house, and anytime he gets into an argument with somebody, he says, "I cut my own grass." Every time we'll be talking about football, we'll be talking
Yeah.
about you own me some money. Well, I cut my own grass.
That's absolutely hilarious.
It's a proud thing, man.
Yeah. So we have to figure out how much it would take to get you to come over as a business to help people. And
I don't have the time, man. I don't have the time. I can point you in the right direction.
Yeah. Well,
Point you in the right direction.
Well, that's good. Well, I really admire and
get your
and
Inglewood
respect
shirts. I'm dialed in on Inglewood. That's what I'm tapped in. Make sure you get your Inglewood shirts. www.inglewoods.la.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, I really support. I really support you, and anyone that supports my show, you can get your products. So you're still on Weed Maps, is it?
Still on Weed Maps.
Still on Weed Maps.
SC
How
Edibles.
is business?
Business is excellent right now.
Oh, that's good.
The Rams are winning. The Rams are undefeated right now. LeBron is in LA, and everybody wants to get high.
You know,
This is the city of champions.
LA right now is really a good place to be.
It is the place to be.
Yeah, I'm thankful to be here. So, some of my tips from my the people that have sell, they say you always have a set price. Do prices change?
Prices do change according to the economy and the drought and things like that. For instance, it's harvest season right now. Harvest season means all the growers are getting ready to harvest their products. That means everybody's going to have weed. So the prices are going to go down. It's not a drought right now. Everybody's going to have it. Everybody's going to be competing. This grower will be offering it for a cheaper price than this grower. It's harvest season.
Will it be a better product?
Will it be a better product?
Yeah, like the product you
during
sell.
Harvest, during harvest season, you're getting the best of the best products. Everyone has it. Everyone grows. This is your best product. It's not the drought season. Probably around January over to February. That's when the drought starts to come and the prices go up, and you have to pay more to get your quality stuff.
I see. It's definitely supply and demand.
So prices do change.
Similar to if you were, let's say, my wife loves Christmas. She just loves Christmas. And if you look at QVC has Christmas in July, which I think is the craziest thing. But can you buy, because the marijuana that you buy, the weed that you buy, you can actually store it or save it. Is there a better time of year to buy the marijuana or to store it? Like if you were to buy it,
I say now around harvest season.
Around harvest season, you can keep it around for
a
long time.
Get you a couple pounds around harvest season and save them for Christmas time and pull them out with your Christmas tree.
It would still be good in April. So, like if you were to buy Christmas stuff, if I bought Christmas stuff, I'd buy it in January
because it's cheaper.
Is that the case? So when would marijuana be cheaper?
Right now, around harvest season. That's around when all the growers are coming down off the mountains in Humboldt. They're in Humboldt. They're up north. In
Humboldt County?
Humboldt County. They're coming down off the mountain. They're hippies, and they want to get rid of their stuff. They got so much of it.
Is that right? Is that right? Where would you find them? Like, where would you buy them?
People go up there. I've never been up there. I've got a lot of friends and family that's been up there. Buns, my dog, he's been to Humboldt.
Humboldt County, and that's remarkable to me.
Yeah.
That's where people would be selling.
People go up there just for jobs too. Buns' mom went up there just to trim weed for a few months. She didn't have a job. She went up there, and it was good money. You get paid about $20 an hour to sit up there with all the other hippies and trim weed.
Is that right?
To sit up there with a pair of scissors and trim weed all day. And Buns was up there with the snakes and the dogs and trimming weed.
And my geographics are way off, but Humboldt County is that near Fresno or is that near San Francisco or
Further
is that
north.
more in the desert?
All the way north, almost close to Washington.
Really?
Absolutely, all the way north, all the way.
Is that right?
It's the perfect ideal climate for marijuana. With the humidity and the beach being right there with the water, the climate is perfect. And that's where you go and get the marijuana that is as big as Christmas trees. I've seen the pictures.
Wow.
It's huge.
That's remarkable.
Guys sitting out there with a shotgun just guarding their farm.
That's remarkable. That's absolutely remarkable to me. Do people grow? Is it legal to grow large scale in Los Angeles? Do you know?
I don't know if you got to have proper licensing to do it on a large commercial scale like that. I believe it is legal because I know a lot of people that are doing it right now and they have the proper licensing. They're supplying these dispensaries. These dispensaries that everybody's going to, they're growing on a large scale. And so much of their product goes to the dispensaries.
It seems like Los Angeles has become almost predatory to the small-time person, to the people that are actually opening up shops. And mind you, they're not legal. Mind you, that they don't have the proper licensing, but it seems like it's almost predatory, the disposition LA has, because they're taking all their stuff, and it just seems like that's, to me, although again I'm not one who supports marijuana, but that's outside of the spirit of what we were trying to do.
Well, a lot of these places that are opening up aren't properly doing it. They're just opening up and selling weed and thinking it's okay.
So where do they get theirs from?
They're what?
Their weed. Are they getting it from Humboldt?
They're growing it or getting it from their local weed man. They're not getting it from a licensed organization or anything like that. They're getting it from the local weed man and going and opening up a store on the corner. And these places get shut down.
Yeah. Do you agree with that? Them shutting these people down, or?
Yes, because they're not even trying to go about it in the right way. There's a lot of businesses out there that are trying to get the right licensings and are trying to do it the right way. And then there's so many of them that make it bad for all the others. They're just opening up a store and selling weed. And that's just drug dealing. That's all that is. That's drug dealing.
I think it's all drug dealing, in a lot of ways.
No, because there's a lot of people with medical illnesses that are using this cannabis. Not everybody's using it for recreational use.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
Sure. I agree. I totally agree. This is Mondays with Wallace. I'm Wallace. We always are thankful to have everyone here with us. We are live on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, under Mondays with Wallace. We didn't get any calls today, but our number to call me at is 424-227-9461. We speak every week about cannabis, and we are here with Steve Cotton from SC Edibles.
Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you, and I was happy to have my wife in studio looking at me today, or watching with us today. This is Mondays with Wallace. How we doing on time, Lee?
You're out.
You're out.
See you later.
See you next week, everyone. Bye now.
Thanks, Lee.